Hi, my name is Przemek Chojecki and this video is about how to spot a deepfake, my article written for Built-in, which you can read down below. I will give you a link to the actual article. The article itself answers the question of what is a deepfake, what are the dangers, how to recognize a deepfake. So I wanted to go through that in this video. So first of all, deepfake is simply a hyper-realistic AI-generated video or image. That's the definition. Uh, so they are not real, they are fake. This is where the name comes from. And often it's really hard to distinguish a deepfake from an actual photo, especially as the techniques and methods for generating images is progressing. Those machine learning methods are getting better and better. Computer vision is definitely much better than it used to be, for example, a couple of years ago. So you, for example, can see things like President Obama deepfake, and that was created by Jordan Peele. There's a link in the article. That's a very famous deepfake where actually Jordan Peele impersonates President Barack Obama thanks to technology, and it's really hard to discern between what's true and what's not. So there are really a lot of dangers when it comes to deepfakes. So especially right now, the technology is still not perfect and you can recognize many of the things on the photo. There's a sampling the text. There's an example of this is an example of the image generated by deepfakes, and if you look carefully by machine learning algorithms, if you look carefully at this deepfake, then probably if you look at the left ear especially, there's this area around the ear, the upper ear, that actually looks kind of shady and there's something going on. This is what's called artifact, and artifact of the algorithm. So you can see here that something is going on, and in general, if you zoom in onto the hair, onto the head, especially the hair is super difficult to imitate. You can always recognize that it's a deepfake. But of course, technology is getting much better and it's much harder to spot those kind of things on videos, unless the person is speaking a little bit unnaturally, but that's also changing. So this is basically the technique where you use things like generative adversarial networks, and those are two neural networks where one of them is trained to recognize fakes and the other tries to actually generate fakes, and there's like a competing match between them two, and you try to have this one generative network to generate as good fakes as possible in order for the other not to recognize them as fakes. That's the basic goal. This is how the whole technology works. So what I wanted to mention quickly is that it's not always bad, and going to the direction of deepfakes actually can have really nice implications as well, especially if you think about, for example, fashion or entertainment. For example, in the recent movie The Irishman, AI was used to digitally de-age Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, and Hollywood is also heading in that direction. For example, James Dean is going to appear in upcoming movie thanks to AI. There are also other AI-generated actors in sci-fi movies. So this technique, these methods actually have a lot of repercussions, a lot of impact on actually things which are important, which are entertainment, which are fun. So it's not always like dangerous political kind of stuff that you have to be aware of. But of course, you have to remember that stuff as well. So what I wanted to distinguish in this text was that there's a difference between being fake and synthetic, and fake is something definitely not true and something which tries to lie to you about, for example, particular news, as in fake news. So that's one thing. Whereas synthetic usually denotes something which is machine generated, and you shouldn't confound the two. There's a difference between synthetic and fake, and you can have true synthetic news and fake news written by a human. So you should really beware between discriminating against the machine generated content, which sometimes happen. Like you have perfectly fine content generated by machines, which makes, for example, generating news on about the weather, about the traffic, about financial markets much more easier, because machines can really address all the issues happening at once. And this kind of techniques are actually used in order to report sports. So this doesn't have to do only with images, this have to do also with sports, but it's important to remember that there's a difference between being a fake and being synthetic. So this is what I wanted to mention here. Basically, maybe the last thing I want to mention is that this text is also based on my recent book, Artificial Intelligence Business. So if you want to have more stories about AI and how AI works in practice on different examples, then definitely check out the book. The book is available on Amazon right now, and it's both available as an ebook or a paperback. So whatever is more convenient for you. So thank you for watching. If you like this kind of content, please give a like to this video, subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next episode.